"You're a failure as a father," my son said, loud enough that his wife heard from the kitchen. I smiled, set down the gift I'd brought for my grandson's birthday, took out one page from my folder. That's all it took to make his face go white. What he didn't know was that page was just the beginning. What came next changed everything. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. My name is Walter. I'm 72 years old. And the moment my son called me a failure, I knew exactly what I had to do. Let me back up. Saturday afternoon, March 16th. I drove 40 minutes to Derek's house in Maple Grove. Nice neighborhood, tree-lined streets, houses that all looked the same except for the paint colors. Derek's was gray with white trim. I'd helped with the down payment. $45,000. September 2019. I had a gift for Tommy, my grandson, turning 8. Remote control car. The good kind, not the cheap plastic ones that break after a week. $127 at the hobby shop. I'd wrapped it myself that morning. I knocked. Derek opened the door 6 inches. "Oh, Dad, not warm, just factual, like I was the meter reader." "Happy birthday to Tommy," I said. "Thought I'd drop this off." "Yeah, about that." Derek didn't open the door wider. "We're actually in the middle of the party. It's kind of a whole thing." I could hear kids screaming inside. Happy screaming. Games. Music. "I won't stay long," I said. "Just want to say hello to Tommy, give him his gift." Derek glanced back into the house. His wife, Rachel, appeared behind him. She had that smile, the one that never reached her eyes. "Walter, hi." She didn't say I could come in either. "I texted you last week," I said, "about the party time." "That was last week, Dad." Derek's voice had an edge now. "Things changed. We moved it up because Rachel's parents are in town and they're leaving tomorrow." "I see." I held up the gift. "Well, I'm here now." Rachel and Derek exchanged a look. One of those married people looks that says a whole conversation without words. "The thing is," Rachel said, "we've got a pretty full house. My whole family is here, and some of Tommy's friends from school, and it's a lot." I stood there on the porch, holding a birthday present for my grandson, being told the house was too full for me. "I'll just be a minute," I said. "Dad?" Derek's jaw tightened. "We're in the middle of something. Can we do this another time?" "Do what another time? Say happy birthday to my grandson?" "You're making this weird," Rachel said. "Tommy's having a great time. We don't want to disrupt the flow." The flow. My presence would disrupt the flow of my grandson's birthday party. I heard Tommy's voice from inside. "Dad, can we do cake now?" "In a minute, buddy," Derek called back. Then to me, quieter, "Look, just leave the gift. I'll make sure he gets it. We'll do dinner or something next week." "You said that last month," I said, "about Christmas. We never did dinner." Derek's face flushed. "Because you showed up unannounced on Christmas Eve and made it awkward." "I called," I said. "You said come by any time after 6. And we had plans, Dad. We told you we had plans. You told me after I drove here." Rachel put her hand on Derek's arm. "Honey, the kids." Derek took a breath, looked at me like I was a problem he needed to solve. "Dad, I don't have time for this right now. Just Just go home, okay? We'll talk later. I just want to see Tommy. And I just told you it's not a good time. I stood there, 72 years old, standing on my son's porch, being turned away from my grandson's birthday party like I was selling something. You know what? I set the gift down on the porch floor. Forget it. I turned to leave. That's when Derek said it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. His voice rose, angry now. This guilt trip thing you do? This martyr act? You're a failure as a father, Dad. You always have been. I stopped, turned back. Derek was standing in the doorway now, full in the frame. Rachel had gone pale. A failure, I said. Calm. Not a question. Yeah, a failure. You think showing up with expensive gifts makes up for everything? You think money fixes it? I smiled. Derek blinked. Hadn't expected that. I reached into my jacket, pulled out my folder, the brown leather one I'd brought specifically for this moment. Took out one page, just one. What's that? Derek said. I handed it to him. He took it, read it. His face went from red to white in about 3 seconds. This is... He looked up at me. You can't be serious. I'm very serious, I said. Rachel leaned in to look. Her mouth opened. Dad, this is insane. You can't just... I can, I said. And I did. That's just page 1. There are 47 more pages in this folder. Would you like to see them? Derek's hand shook. The paper trembled. We need to talk about this, he said. No, I said. We don't. It's done. You'll get the formal notification Monday morning. Your lawyer can contact my lawyer if you have questions. I turned and walked back to my car. Derek followed me down the driveway. Dad, wait. Just wait. Let's talk about this inside. I thought the house was too full. Dad, please, I didn't mean... I was just stressed. The party, all the people... I opened my car door. You called me a failure, I said. In front of your wife. Loud enough that your son probably heard. I was angry. I didn't... You meant it, I said. And that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. But you're not entitled to my money anymore. I got in the car. Derek grabbed the door. What's on the rest of those pages? I looked up at him. My son, 43 years old, panicking. Everything, I said. Every dollar, every date, every text message asking for help. Every time I said yes and you said thank you and then asked again 3 weeks later. All of it. Documented. I closed the door, started the engine. Derek stood in the driveway as I pulled away, still holding that single page. That was 6 weeks ago. Let me tell you what was on that page. It was the cover sheet to a legal document. Title: Revocation of Financial Support and Dissolution of Informal Family Trust. Beneath that, Derek Thomas Morrison, Rachel Lynn Morrison, and dependents. Beneath that, total support provided 2018 to 2024, $284,600. I drove home. 40 minutes. My hands were steady on the wheel. That surprised me. I'd expected to feel something. Anger, maybe. Grief. Something. Instead, I felt calm. I got home. My house, the one I've lived in for 44 years. The one Martha and I bought in 1980 when Derek was 2 years old. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, quarter-acre lot. Mortgage paid off in 2003. I made coffee. Sat at the kitchen table. Same table where I'd helped Derek with his homework. Where Martha and I had celebrated our 30th anniversary. Where I'd sat alone after her funeral, wondering how the hell I was supposed to keep going. I opened my laptop. I had a spreadsheet. I'd been keeping it for 6 years. Since 2018, when Derek first asked me for help with the down payment. Let me show you what help looked like. September 2018, $45,000. Down payment for the house in Maple Grove. Derek said it was a great investment. Growing neighborhood, good schools. He'd pay me back within 2 years once his promotion came through. Never saw a dollar of it back. June 2019, $28,000. Rachel wanted a new car. The Honda Civic was unreliable. She needed something safer for Tommy. They were struggling with Rachel's student loans and the new mortgage. Could I help just this once? Just this once became every time. October 2019, $3,200. Roof repair. Insurance wouldn't cover it. Emergency. They didn't have savings. December 2019, $5,000. Christmas. Derek said he wanted to make it special for Tommy. First Christmas in the new house. February 2020, $2,800. Furnace died. Another emergency. April 2020, $4,500. Rachel lost her job. They needed help with bills until she found something new. That became monthly. May 2020, $2,200. Groceries, utilities, mortgage help. June 2020, $2,400. Same. July 2020, $2,100. Same. This went on for 7 months until Rachel got a new job. I sent $18,600 during that period. August 2020, $6,500. Medical bills. Tommy had to have his tonsils out. Their insurance didn't cover the full amount. November 2020, $3,800. Rachel's car needed transmission work. The safe, reliable car from 2019, January 2021, $8,000. Credit card debt. Derek said they'd gotten behind during the pandemic. Just needed to clear it out and start fresh. March 2021, $2,500. New washer and dryer. Theirs broke. April 2021, $12,000. Derek's business idea. He wanted to start a consulting LLC. Needed capital for equipment, website, business license. This was going to be big. He'd pay me back with interest once the clients started rolling in. The LLC lasted 9 months. Derek shut it down in January 2022. Never mentioned paying me back. June 2021, $4,200. Central air conditioning unit died. Heat wave. Tommy was suffering. September 2021, $3,600. Tommy's school expenses. Private school now. Better education. First semester tuition help. November 2021, $5,000. Rachel's parents were having financial trouble. Could I help? Family helping family. I never met Rachel's parents until Tommy's birthday party, the one I wasn't invited to properly. December 2021, $4,500. Christmas again. Tommy's at that age where he really notices things. February 2022, $7,800. Basement flooded. Insurance claim was taking forever. May 2022, $2,900. Rachel's brother's wedding, out of state. Travel expenses. They couldn't miss it. July 2022, $3,400. Fence for the backyard. HOA requirement. October 2022, $5,200. Property taxes. They'd forgotten to save for it. December 2022, $5,000. Christmas. Tommy wanted a gaming computer. January 2023, $6,800. Derek's car died. Needed a used truck for his consulting work. The LLC that had closed a year earlier, March 2023, $4,100. Tommy's birthday party. Big one. 2-digit age. Had to be special. May 2023, $8,500. Kitchen renovation. Investment in the house. Countertops. New appliances. August 2023, $3,200. Tommy's summer camp. All his friends were going. October 2023, $4,700. Rachel's medical expenses. Some kind of specialist appointments. December 2023, $6,200. Christmas. Tommy wanted a new bike. Rachel wanted a new laptop for work. January 2024, $2,400. Utilities spike. Cold winter. February 2024, $3,100. Car insurance and registration for both vehicles. March 2024, $2,800. Groceries and miscellaneous. Just until next paycheck. I added it up that night after the birthday party. $284,600 in 6 years, not counting the birthday gifts, the Christmas gifts, the times I'd bought groceries when I visited, the tank of gas I'd filled for Rachel once when she was running on empty and payday was Friday, not counting the time, the babysitting. I'd watched Tommy 63 times in 6 years. I counted, wrote down every time, sometimes planned, usually last minute. Emergency meeting at work. Date night we can't miss. Rachel's sister needs us. I'd dropped everything, canceled plans, rearranged my schedule, driven 40 minutes each way, never asked for gas money, never asked for anything. I'd done it because he was my grandson, because that's what grandparents do, not counting the phone calls. I'd scroll through my call log. Derek's name appeared 187 times in 6 years. I called him maybe 20 times. The rest were him calling me. I'd started noticing a pattern in 2022. Every call started the same way. "Hey, Dad, how are you?" Then 10 seconds of small talk, then, "So, I need to ask you something." Every time. The "how are you" was just the required greeting before the request, not counting the visits. 6 years, 72 months. Derek visited my house 11 times. 11. Twice for Christmas. Once for Thanksgiving 2020, when his in-laws were out of town. Once for my birthday in 2021. Once when they needed to store furniture in my garage for 3 months. Once when Derek needed help fixing his truck. Once when Rachel wanted me to watch Tommy so they could go to a concert. That's 7. The other 4 were drop-bys, quick stops. We were in the area. Stayed less than 30 minutes. Usually needed something. Borrow a tool. Use my printer. Get me to sign something. 11 visits in 6 years. I'd driven to their house at least 4 times a month. For babysitting. For dinners I'd been invited to. For Tommy's school events when Derek remembered to tell me. More than 200 times in 6 years. Not counting the text messages. I scrolled through them that night. Years of messages. Hey, Dad. Weird question. Dad, quick favor. Hey, can I ask you something? Dad, we have a situation. Emergency, can you call me? 90% of Derek's texts started with some version of those phrases. The other 10% were responses to my messages. Me. How's Tommy doing? Derek. Good. Me. Haven't heard from you in a while. Everything okay? Derek. Yeah, just busy. Me. Want to grab lunch this week? Derek. Can't this week. Swamped. I'll let you know. He never let me know. Not counting what I'd asked for in return. Nothing. I'd never asked Derek for money. Never asked him to help with my house. Never asked him to drive to me instead of me driving to him. Never asked him to call more. Never asked him to visit. I'd asked to be included, that's all. Tommy's baseball games. I'd heard about them after they happened, seen photos on Facebook. School plays, same thing. Derek would post pictures. I'd comment. He'd like my comment. Never occurred to him to invite me. Christmas 2023. I'd called Derek on December 20th, asked what their plans were. We're doing Christmas Eve at Rachel's parents' house, he said. Then Christmas Day just us, low key. Want me to come by Christmas Eve? I asked. Rachel's parents' house is kind of small, Derek said. It'll be packed. What about Christmas Day? We're really just doing immediate family. We want Tommy to have a relaxed morning, you know. I wasn't immediate family anymore. I'd driven by their house Christmas evening, just to see it. Lights on, cars in the driveway. I didn't stop. Didn't knock. Went home. Had leftover ham. Watched TV. Not counting the promises. I'll pay you back, Dad, I promise. This is the last time. We'll get our budget figured out. Once my raise comes through, we'll start paying you back monthly. We're so grateful. We don't know what we'd do without you. You're the best, Dad. Seriously. We'll have you over more. I know we've been bad about that. Let's plan something for your birthday. Something special. None of it happened, not counting what Martha would have said. She'd been gone for 8 years. Died in 2016. Cancer. Fast. 6 months from diagnosis to funeral. I knew exactly what she would have said about Derek. He's using you, Walter. She'd said it before she died. Different context. Derek had borrowed $5,000 in 2015 for car trouble. Never paid it back. Martha had noticed. He thinks you're a bank, she'd said. You need to stop enabling him. I'd defended Derek then. He was our son. He was going through a tough time. His marriage was new. Finances were hard. Martha had given me that look, the one that said she knew I was wrong but loved me anyway. "Mark my words," she'd said. "This won't stop, not unless you stop it." She'd been right. I sat at the kitchen table that night, looking at the spreadsheet, the messages, the call logs. I'd spent 6 years being an ATM machine, an ATM that occasionally got invited to birthdays when convenient, an ATM that got called a failure when it tried to show up. I opened a new document, started typing. I spent 3 weeks on it. The document that Derek got a glimpse of on his porch, 48 pages. Page 1, the cover sheet, the one I'd handed him, title, case number, total amount, pages 2 through 37, itemized list, every transaction, date, amount, purpose, any communication around it, screenshots of texts, printouts of bank transfers, emails, everything. Page 38, request timeline, every time Derek asked for money, direct quotes when available. Page 39, visit log, dates I visited them, dates they visited me, comparison chart. Page 40, communication analysis, call frequency, text message patterns, subject matter breakdown. Page 41, promises made versus promises kept, exact quotes. 0 fulfilled, pages 42 through 45, terms of revocation, effective immediately, all financial support ceased, all informal loans called due, 30-day demand for repayment. After 30 days, debt forgiveness with one condition, no contact. Page 46, estate notification, updated will filed with attorney. Derek removed as beneficiary. Estate to be divided between charity and distant cousins. Page 47, grandparent rights waiver. I would not pursue visitation with Tommy. I would not contest any decisions Derek and Rachel made. In exchange, they would not contact me for any reason unless I initiated. Page 48, attorney contact information, signature lines, notary stamp. I'd had it notarized on March 12th, 4 days before Tommy's birthday party. I didn't go to that party intending to hand Derek those documents. I went intending to give my grandson a birthday present, but I'd brought the folder just in case. Just in case Derek did exactly what he always did, treated me like an inconvenience. A week after the birthday party, the phone calls started. Derek called 6 times the first day. I didn't answer. Voicemails. "Dad, call me back. We need to talk about this." "Dad, you're being ridiculous. Call me. This is insane. You can't just cut us off like this. Call me back." "Dad, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry for what I said. Can we please just talk? Rachel is freaking out. Our mortgage payment is due Friday. Dad, please." "Fine. Don't call me back, but you're making a huge mistake." I deleted them all. Text messages came next. "Dad, please answer. We need to talk. You're overreacting. I didn't mean what I said. Please. We're family. The mortgage got declined. The transfer didn't go through. Did you actually close the account?" I'd closed the account, the one I'd set up in 2019 that automatically transferred money to Derek's checking account. $2,000 a month. Every month since April 2020. 4 years of automatic transfers. $96,000. I hadn't even included that in the spreadsheet total because it had become so routine I'd stopped thinking of it as help. Derek had certainly stopped thinking of it as help. He'd stopped saying thank you for it in 2021. It had just become expected. Rachel started texting too. "Walter, Derek is really upset. Can you please just talk to him?" "We don't understand what happened. One minute everything was fine. This seems really extreme over a birthday party. We're sorry you felt left out. That wasn't our intention. We have bills due. We're counting on you." That phrase stuck with me. We're counting on you. Not we're grateful for your help. Not we'd appreciate your support. We're counting on you. Like I owed them. Like my money was already theirs. I blocked their numbers on March 24th. The lawyer's letter arrived at their house on March 25th. I know because my attorney called me. "Your son called the office," he said. "He's very upset, wants to know if this is legally binding." "And you told him?" "That you're under no legal obligation to provide financial support to an adult child. That gifts and loans made previously cannot be retroactively claimed as repayment required unless a written contract existed. That your estate planning is your private business, and that if he continues to harass this office, we'll pursue a restraining order." "Good," I said. "He claims you're mentally incompetent. Wants to know if you've been evaluated." I'd expected this. "I have an appointment with Dr. Richardson tomorrow," I said. "Cognitive function evaluation. I'll have the results by end of week." "Perfect. Send them to me." I saw Dr. Richardson on March 26th. She's been my doctor for 15 years. She ran the full battery, memory tests, reasoning, problem solving, mental status exam, perfect score. "Walter, your cognitive function is excellent," she said. "Better than most people your age. You're sharp as a tack." "Can you document that?" I asked. "Of course. Any particular reason?" "My son thinks I'm losing my mind because I stopped giving him money." Dr. Richardson's mouth tightened. "I see. Yes, I'll have a formal evaluation letter ready tomorrow." I sent the letter to my attorney. He sent a copy to Derek. The Facebook post went up on March 28th. I'm not on Facebook. Haven't been since 2019. Martha had managed our account. After she died, I just stopped logging in. But my neighbor Carol is on Facebook. She showed up at my door Thursday morning. "Walter, have you seen what Derek posted?" "I'm not on Facebook," I said. "You need to see this." She held out her phone. The post was long, 6 paragraphs. "I never thought I'd have to write this, but I need to share what's happening with my father. For months now he's been acting erratically, mood swings, irrational decisions, paranoia. We've tried to help him, but he's refusing to see reason. Last week he came to my son's birthday party and made a scene, accused us of excluding him when we'd simply moved the party time due to a family conflict. He became angry and hostile in front of the children. Now he's claiming we owe him money. He sent legal documents demanding repayment for gifts he gave voluntarily over the years. Gifts we never asked for, things he insisted on helping with. We're worried about his mental state. We've tried to get him to see a doctor, but he refuses. He's cut off all contact with his grandson. He's making wild accusations. He's not himself. If anyone has advice on how to help an elderly parent who won't accept help, please reach out. This is breaking our hearts. We love him, but we don't know what to do. 247 likes. 89 comments, most of them supportive. Praying for your family. This must be so hard. Stay strong. Dementia is terrible. My dad went through the same thing. You're a good son for trying to help him. Some were skeptical. There are always two sides. Maybe give him some space? Have you considered he might have legitimate concerns? Those comments had replies from Rachel. We've tried giving him space. He's the one who showed up uninvited. His concerns aren't based in reality. That's the problem. We're doing everything we can. I handed Carol's phone back to her. That's quite a story, I said. Is any of it true? Carol asked. Which part? Any of it. The mood swings, the scene at the birthday party, the money. I knocked on Derek's door, I said. Brought a birthday gift for my grandson. Got told the house was too full for me. When I objected, Derek called me a failure as a father. I handed him documentation of the $284,600 I've given him over 6 years and left. No scene, no yelling. I just left. Carol's eyes widened. $284,000? Plus the monthly transfers he'd started counting on, plus my time, plus everything else that doesn't show up in a bank statement. And he called you a failure. Loud enough for his wife to hear. Carol shook her head. Walter, you should respond. Tell people the truth. No, I said. But he's lying about you. People believe him. Let them, I said. Anyone who knows me will ask questions. Anyone who doesn't know me doesn't matter. But your reputation... Carol, I'm 72. I'm retired. I don't need a reputation. I need peace. She looked at me for a long moment. You're really done with him? Yes. What about Tommy? That one hurt. Tommy has parents, I said. They've made it clear what my role is. I'm respecting their wishes. Carol left. I made coffee. Sat at the kitchen table, thought about Tommy, 8 years old. I'd been there the day he was born, held him in the hospital. One of the best days of my life after one of the worst years. Martha had been gone 6 months. Tommy had given me something to look forward to. I'd watched him grow up in increments, visits every few weeks. Saw him learn to walk, heard his first words, taught him to throw a ball. Then the visits got further apart. Derek was busy. Rachel had things planned. Tommy had activities. I went from seeing Tommy twice a month to once a month, to every other month, to whenever it was convenient, which became almost never, unless they needed babysitting. The last real conversation I'd had with Tommy was Christmas 2022, 15 months ago. He'd shown me a school project, told me about his friends, asked me about my woodworking shop. We'd talked for maybe 20 minutes before Derek said they had to leave. After that, Tommy stopped engaging much. Polite, distant, answered questions with 1 or 2 words. I don't know what Derek and Rachel told him about me. I don't know if he wondered why I stopped coming around. Maybe he didn't notice. Kids are resilient. They adapt. Someone disappears from their life. They fill the space with something else. I hoped he was okay. But I couldn't be his grandfather on the terms Derek was offering anymore. Show up when summoned. Be grateful for scraps of time. Don't make waves. Don't expect inclusion. Keep the money flowing. That wasn't being a grandfather. That was being an employee. And I'd been fired anyway. Derek made that clear. You're a failure as a father. Fine. Then I'd stop trying. April came. The calls stopped. The texts stopped. I thought maybe that was it. Maybe Derek had moved on, found another source of funding. Maybe Rachel's parents stepped up. I should have known better. April 15th, I got a letter. Law Offices of Patterson and Schmidt. I opened it. Dear Mr. Morrison, we represent Derek and Rachel Morrison in the matter of financial elder abuse and undue influence. Our clients have provided documentation that you have made erratic and unfounded demands for repayment of gifts freely given over a period of years. Our clients are concerned about your mental competency and your ability to manage your financial affairs. They request that you undergo a comprehensive psychological evaluation and appoint a power of attorney to oversee your estate. Failure to comply will result in our clients pursuing legal remedies, including but not limited to guardianship proceedings and wellness checks by Adult Protective Services. Please respond within 10 days. I called my attorney. They're trying to declare you incompetent, he said. Get control of your finances and your estate. Can they do that? They can try. They won't succeed. You have Dr. Richardson's evaluation. You're clearly of sound mind. No judge will grant guardianship. What do I do? Nothing. I'll respond. I'll make it very clear that any further harassment will result in a lawsuit for defamation and emotional distress. I'll attach Dr. Richardson's evaluation. I'll note that you're under no obligation to explain your financial decisions to your adult son, and I'll remind them that attempting to file false guardianship petitions is grounds for sanctions. Will that stop them? It should. But Walter, be prepared. They're not going to let this go easily. They're losing $2,000 a month plus whatever emergency funding they were counting on. They're desperate. He was right. April 23rd, Adult Protective Services showed up at my door. 2 women, mid-40s, professional, polite. Mr. Morrison, we're with APS. We received a report of concern about your welfare. May we come in? What kind of concern? I asked. We're not at liberty to discuss the specifics, but we're required to follow up on all reports. This will just take a few minutes. I let them in. They looked around, asked questions. Was I eating regularly? Yes. Kitchen was clean. Refrigerator stocked. Was I keeping up with bills? Yes. Showed them my bank statements, everything current. Was I taking any medications? Yes. Blood pressure medication. Took it every morning. Here's the bottle. Was I feeling depressed or confused? No. Showed them Dr. Richardson's evaluation from 3 weeks earlier. Did I have any concerns about my safety? No. They asked about Derek. We understand you've had some conflict with your son. That's correct, I said. Can you tell us about that? I stopped giving him money. He didn't like it. Did he threaten you? No. He called me a failure. Then he got a lawyer to suggest I'm mentally incompetent. I assume he's the one who called you. The women exchanged glances. We can't confirm who made the report, one said. But based on what we've seen, you're clearly managing well. Your home is clean, you're well-groomed, you're articulate and oriented. We don't have any concerns. Will there be a report? I asked. Yes. We'll file that the investigation found no evidence of abuse, neglect, or exploitation. The case will be closed. They left. I called my attorney. They're escalating, he said. This is good, actually. It shows their desperation. Every time they try something and fail, it strengthens your position. Document everything. I documented everything, the phone calls, the texts, the Facebook post, the lawyer's letter, the APS visit. I had a file 3 inches thick. May came. I started getting calls from family members, distant ones, cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. "Walter, Derek called. He's worried about you." "Walter, I saw the Facebook post. Are you okay?" "Walter, do you need help?" I gave them all the same answer. "I'm fine. Derek and I have a disagreement. It'll work itself out." Most of them accepted that. A few pushed. "He says you're not yourself. He says you're confused. He says you're cutting off your grandson." To those I said, "If you'd like to visit and see for yourself that I'm fine, you're welcome any time. Otherwise, I'd appreciate you staying out of it." That ended most of the calls. My cousin Linda didn't let it go. She drove down from Wisconsin, showed up unannounced on May 8th. "Walter, I'm worried about you." "I'm fine, Linda." "Derek says—" I know what Derek says. Derek is lying. I invited her in, made coffee, showed her the documents. All of them. The spreadsheet, the bank statements, the texts, the lawyer's letters, Dr. Richardson's evaluation, the APS report. Linda read through it all. Took her an hour. When she finished, she looked at me. "Jesus Christ, Walter." "Yeah. He's taken you for almost $300,000. "Yes." "And he called you a failure?" "Yes." "And now he's trying to make everyone think you're senile so he can get control of your estate." "That appears to be the plan." Linda shook her head. "I'm sorry. I should have asked you first before believing him." "Most people do," I said. "What are you going to do?" "Nothing. I've done what I needed to do. The rest is up to him." "What about Tommy?" Everyone kept asking about Tommy. "Tommy has parents. They've made their choice." Linda left. Called me the next day. "I talked to Derek," she said. "And?" "He tried the whole dad's not himself routine. I told him I'd seen you. Told him you seemed perfectly fine. Told him I'd seen the documentation." "How'd he react?" "He got angry. Said you'd manipulated me. Said you were turning the family against him. Said I didn't understand the full story." "Did you ask him about the money?" "Yes. He said those were gifts. Said you'd offered. Said you'd never asked for repayment before, so why now?" "What did you say?" "I said maybe you got tired of being used. He hung up on me." I thanked Linda. She promised to call weekly. Check in. She kept that promise. Mid-May, things got quiet. No calls, no letters, no surprise visits. I thought maybe it was over. I should have known better. May 26th, I got home from the grocery store to find Derek sitting on my porch steps. I parked, got out, started unloading bags. Derek stood up. "Dad!" "Derek." I didn't stop unloading. "We need to talk." "No, we don't. Dad, please. Just 5 minutes." I carried bags to the porch. Derek moved aside. I unlocked the door, carried bags inside. Derek followed me in. "I didn't invite you inside," I said. "It's my childhood home, Dad. I grew up here." "And now you're a guest. Uninvited." I put groceries away. Derek stood in the kitchen. "I'm sorry," he said. "Okay?" "I'm sorry for what I said. I was stressed. The party was chaotic. I didn't mean it." I put milk in the refrigerator. "Dad?" Are you listening? I'm listening. I said I'm sorry. I heard you. So can we move past this? I closed the refrigerator, turned to face him. No. Derek blinked. No? No. We can't move past this. Dad, I apologized. You apologized because the money stopped, not because you meant what you said. That's not... I mean it. I'm sorry. You called me a failure as a father. You told your wife I was making things weird by showing up to your son's birthday party. You posted on Facebook that I'm mentally incompetent. You sicked a lawyer on me. You called Adult Protective Services to investigate me. You told family members I'm having a breakdown. Derek's face flushed. I was worried about you. You were worried about your mortgage payment. That's not fair. $284,600, Derek. 6 years. You never said thank you after 2021. You never paid back $1. You stopped inviting me to anything unless you needed babysitting. You made me drive to you every single time because you were too busy to visit. And when I showed up with a birthday present for my grandson, you told me the house was too full for me. We've been over this. The timing was bad. The timing was bad because I didn't call first to see if I was allowed to see my grandson on his birthday. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? Derek ran his hand through his hair, frustrated. I meant... Look, things have been tight, okay? Money's been tight. Rachel's stressed. I'm stressed. We've got a lot on our plates. You showing up unannounced added pressure. I called you. You said come by any time. I didn't think you'd actually show up. There it was. You didn't think I'd show up, I repeated. I mean, I thought maybe you'd text first or something. Like you do when you need money. Derek's jaw tightened. Here we go, back to the money. It's always been about the money, Derek. For you. That's bullshit. I'm your son. Yes, you are. And I loved you. I helped you because I thought that's what fathers do. I thought I was supporting my family. You were. You did. No. I was funding a lifestyle you couldn't afford while being treated like an inconvenience. We never treated you like an inconvenience. You told me not to come to Christmas because it would disrupt Tommy's relaxed morning. We wanted a quiet holiday. Without me. With our immediate family. I'm your father. And we needed space. I stared at him. He stared back. Why are you here, Derek? He looked down. The mortgage is 3 months behind. The bank sent a notice. We're going into foreclosure if we don't catch up by July. And you want me to pay it. I want you to help, like you always have. No. Dad, no. Sell the house if you can't afford it. We have equity. We just need to bridge this gap. Then get a loan. Use your equity. The bank won't approve us. Our credit is, we've had some issues. Not my problem. It's your grandson's home. He'll survive. Kids move all the time. Derek's face went red. You're really going to let us lose the house? I'm not letting you do anything. You made financial decisions without thinking through the consequences. That's on you. We made those decisions because you were helping. You said you'd always be there for us. And I was. Until you made it clear I was only welcome when I came with a check. That's not true. Then why am I here only when you need money? You're here right now, and I haven't asked for anything yet. Yet. You just told me your mortgage is 3 months behind. Derek's hands curled into fists. You know what? Fine. Don't help. But don't expect to ever see Tommy again. There it was. The threat I'd been waiting for. You're using your son as leverage, I said. I'm protecting my son from someone who's clearly having a breakdown. I have a cognitive evaluation from 3 weeks ago. Perfect score. Evaluations can be faked. By a doctor I've seen for 15 years. Money talks. I almost laughed. You think I bribed my doctor? I think you're desperate to prove you're right. I don't need to prove anything. The numbers speak for themselves. The numbers are gifts. The numbers are a pattern of exploitation. Derek stepped closer. You want to know the truth, Dad? The real truth? Please. You were a shitty father. Mom did everything. She raised me. She was there for me. You worked all the time. You were never home. And now you're trying to buy your way into being a good dad retroactively. Well, guess what? It doesn't work that way. The kitchen got very quiet. Is that what you really think? I asked. It's what I know. I nodded slowly. Your mother and I both worked. We both raised you. I was at your baseball games, your school plays, your graduation. I taught you to drive. I helped you move into your first apartment. I paid for your wedding. I was there when Tommy was born. I've been there for everything you allowed me to be there for. You were physically there. You were never emotionally there. And yet you had no problem calling me every time you needed money. Because that's the only thing you know how to do. Throw money at problems. Then you should be thrilled that I stopped. Derek's face was purple now. You're a bitter old man who can't handle the fact that his son has a life that doesn't revolve around him. I'm a father who finally realized his son sees him as an ATM. Go to hell, Dad. Get out of my house. Gladly. Derek turned and walked out. Slammed the door hard enough that the frame shook. I stood in the kitchen for a long time. My hands were shaking now. I sat down at the table, thought about what Derek said, about Martha. She had done a lot. She'd been a wonderful mother, present, loving, patient. But I'd been there too. I'd worked 50 hours a week at the plant to keep the mortgage paid and food on the table. I'd coached Derek's Little League team for 3 years. I'd helped him build his science fair projects. I'd taught him how to change a tire, how to use a drill, how to treat people with respect. Or I'd tried to teach him that last one. Apparently, it hadn't stuck. Martha would have been heartbroken. She'd adored Derek. But she'd seen this coming. He thinks you're a bank, she'd said. She'd been right. I sat there until the sun went down. Then I made dinner, ate it, washed the dishes, went to bed. The next morning I called my attorney. Derek showed up at my house yesterday, I said. Uninvited. Made threats about keeping Tommy from me if I don't pay his mortgage. Did you record it? No. Next time, record it. Missouri is a one-party consent state. You're allowed to record conversations you're part of. Do it. We might need it. He's escalating. Yes. They're losing the house. They're desperate. Desperate people do stupid things. Be careful, Walter. I promised I would be. June came. The Facebook posts continued. Derek didn't post them. Rachel did. Please pray for our family. We're going through a very difficult time with Walter. His paranoia is getting worse. He's making accusations. He's threatening legal action. We're trying to help him, but he won't accept help. Tommy keeps asking where Grandpa is. We don't know what to tell him. Comments rolled in. Sending prayers? Have you tried therapy? Dementia is so hard on families. Maybe it's time to consider a facility? That last one made me laugh. They wanted me in a nursing home so they could liquidate my assets. Not subtle. My attorney sent a cease and desist letter to Rachel. Your continued public defamation of my client constitutes libel. Remove all posts referencing Walter Morrison immediately or face legal action. Rachel deleted the posts, but the damage was done. People in Derek's circle believed I was senile. People in my circle knew better. That was good enough for me. June 14th, I got a call from Tommy's school. Mr. Morrison, this is Principal Watkins at Maple Grove Elementary. I'm calling about Tommy Morrison. Is he okay? I asked. He's fine, but we have a note on file that you're not authorized to pick him up. We wanted to confirm that's still accurate. I paused. When was that note filed? Last week, June 7th. His parents came in and updated the emergency contact list. Your name was removed. I see. I'm sorry if this is awkward. We just want to make sure we're following the parents' wishes. Of course, yes, that's accurate. I'm not authorized. Thank you for confirming. She hung up. I sat there. They'd removed me from Tommy's emergency contacts. I'd been on that list since he started kindergarten. Now I was a stranger, not allowed to pick up my grandson from school. I thought about calling Derek, asking why, but I knew why. Control. They were making sure I couldn't access Tommy at all. Fine. I called my attorney, told him about it. That's their right, he said. You're the grandparent. They're the parents. They control access. I know. Does this change anything for you? No, just wanted you to know. Noted. Walter, are you okay? I'm fine. You don't sound fine. It's just, he's 8 years old. He's my grandson, and I'll never see him again. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Derek's made that clear. My attorney was quiet for a moment. I'm sorry, Walter. I know that's not the answer you want, but legally, you don't have many options. I know. I'm not looking for options. I'm grieving. That's allowed. We hung up. I sat at the kitchen table, thought about Tommy. First time I held him. Hospital. March 2016. 6 pounds, 4 ounces, screaming his head off. I'd looked at him and thought, Martha should be here for this. She'd wanted grandchildren so badly. She'd died 8 months before Tommy was born. I'd held him and cried. Derek had thought I was crying because I was happy. I was. But I was also crying because Martha would never meet him. Now I'd never see him grow up. I'd missed his last 2 birthdays. I'd miss all the ones after. I'd miss his school plays, his sports games, his graduation someday. All because his father needed money, and I'd finally said no. I cried that day. First time I'd cried since Martha's funeral. Sat at the kitchen table and cried for the grandson I'd lost. Then I wiped my face, made coffee, got on with my day. Late June, the foreclosure notice became public record. I know because Carol showed up at my door with her phone again. Walter, Derek's losing the house. I know. Are you still not helping? No. Carol looked at me. Good. Good. I saw the Facebook posts before Rachel deleted them. I saw what they were saying about you. I know you. You're not senile. You're not paranoid. They were lying. Thank you. Are they really losing the house because you cut them off? They're losing the house because they took out a mortgage they couldn't afford and spent 6 years living beyond their means while I subsidized them. When the subsidy stopped, reality caught up. Carol nodded. How do you feel about it? Relieved. Relieved that it's not my problem anymore. She smiled. Sad smile. You're a better man than I'd be. I'd feel guilty. I did. For about a week. Then Derek showed up and demanded money and threatened to keep Tommy from me if I didn't pay. That killed the guilt pretty fast. What happens now? They sell the house or the bank takes it. They move somewhere cheaper. They learn to live on what they earn. And I live my life without being anyone's ATM. July came. The for sale sign went up in Derek's yard. I drove by once, just to see it. Red and white sign. Price reduced. They'd started high, trying to get enough to pay off the mortgage and walk away with something. The market wasn't cooperating. I didn't feel bad for them. I felt bad for Tommy, moving in the middle of elementary school, leaving his friends, probably leaving the private school Rachel had insisted on. But that wasn't my fault. I'd offered to help for 6 years. I'd been there for every crisis, every emergency, every unexpected expense. And the one time I couldn't make it to a birthday party on time, scratch that, the one time I showed up when it was inconvenient, I got called a failure. They made their choice. Now, they got to live with it. Mid-July, my attorney called. They dropped it, he said. Dropped what? Everything. The guardianship threat. The demands, all of it. Derek's attorney sent a letter. They're withdrawing all claims and requests. It's over. Why? My guess? They realized they weren't going to win. You're clearly competent. You have no legal obligation to support them. And every time they tried something, it backfired. The APS investigation cleared you. Dr. Richardson's evaluation was bulletproof. Their Facebook campaign made them look manipulative. They had no case. So it's done. It's done. You're free and clear. I thanked him, hung up, sat there. It was over. 6 years of financial support. 6 years of being taken for granted. 6 years of being an ATM with a pulse. Over. I should have felt victorious. I felt empty. I'd won. But what had I won? I'd kept my money. I'd kept my dignity. I'd proven I wasn't incompetent. But I'd lost my son. I'd lost my grandson. I'd won the war and lost what I was fighting for in the first place. Family. Late July, the house sold, Carol told me. She'd been following the listing. Sold for $40,000 under asking, she said. I saw the moving trucks yesterday. Where are they going? I asked. I don't know. Derek wouldn't tell anyone. Made sense. Fresh start somewhere. Away from the family who knew what really happened. I wondered if Tommy knew. Probably not. Kids don't understand financial stuff. He probably just knew they were moving. Probably didn't know it was because Grandpa stopped paying the bills. I hoped Derek didn't tell him that. I hoped Tommy remembered me as someone who loved him, not as the bad guy in whatever story Derek was telling. August 15th. I got a letter. No return address. Postmarked from Kansas City. I opened it. Single page. Handwritten. Dad, we're settled. New place. Smaller. We're making it work. I'm not apologizing again. You made your choice. I made mine. We're done. But I wanted you to know. Tommy asked about you last week. Asked why you didn't come to his birthday. Asked if you were mad at him. I told him you were busy, that you'd moved away, that you'd call when you could. I didn't tell him the truth. I didn't want him to think his grandfather chose money over him. Because that's what you did, isn't it? You chose money. You could have kept helping. You could have been part of Tommy's life. But you decided your bank account was more important than your grandson. I hope it was worth it. Don't contact us. Don't try to find us. We're moving on. Derek. I read it 3 times. Then I put it in the folder with everything else. Tommy thought I'd moved away. Tommy thought I was too busy to call. Tommy didn't know his father had called me a failure and then demanded money and threatened to keep him from me when I said no. Tommy didn't know any of it. Derek had rewritten the story, made me the villain, and Tommy would grow up believing it. I sat at the kitchen table for a long time. Then I got up, went to my office, pulled out the folder, all 48 pages, all the documentation. I scanned every page, saved them to a cloud drive, printed a second copy, put one copy in a fireproof safe in my basement, put the other copy in an envelope, addressed it to Tommy Morrison, wrote on the outside, "To be opened on your 18th birthday," took it to my attorney's office the next day. "Hold this," I said. "In 10 years, send it to Tommy. I'll provide his address when the time comes." "What is it?" my attorney asked. "The truth, for when he's old enough to understand it." My attorney nodded, put it in his safe. 10 years, he said. August 2034. 10 years. I left, drove home, made dinner, sat on the porch and watched the sun set. Tommy was 8 years old. In 10 years he'd be 18, an adult, old enough to make his own decisions about who to believe, old enough to read 48 pages of documentation and draw his own conclusions. Derek had stolen 6 years of my time and $284,600 of my money. But he hadn't stolen Tommy's future. On his 18th birthday, Tommy would get an envelope. Inside, bank statements, text messages, legal letters, medical evaluations, everything, the whole story. Not the version Derek told, the version that actually happened, and Tommy would get to decide for himself. Who was telling the truth? Who had been there? Who had chosen money over family? Derek thought he'd won. He'd moved away, started over, written me out of the story. But stories have a way of coming back. And in 10 years, Tommy would know. Maybe he'd believe Derek anyway. Maybe he'd think I was lying. Maybe he'd throw the envelope away without reading it. Or maybe he'd read every page, add up the numbers, see the pattern, and realize his grandfather didn't abandon him. His father pushed me away, then lied about it. 10 years. I could wait 10 years. I'd waited 72 years to learn how to say no. 10 more wouldn't kill me. I finished my coffee, went inside, called Linda, my cousin, the one who'd driven down from Wisconsin. "Want to come visit next weekend?" I asked. "I'm grilling out." "I'd love to," she said. "Bring whoever you want. It's just me here. House is too quiet." "I'll bring my daughter and her kids. They'd love to meet you." "Perfect." We hung up. I looked around my house. Same house I'd lived in for 44 years. Same kitchen table, same porch, same memories. It was quiet now. But it was mine. Nobody was taking it. Nobody was demanding I sell it for their benefit. Nobody was calling me incompetent so they could control it. It was paid for. It was peaceful. And on weekends I'd fill it with people who actually wanted to be here. Not people who showed up when they needed something. People who showed up because they liked me. That was enough. Derek was gone. Tommy was gone for now. But I was still here. Still standing. Still sane. Still solvent. And in 10 years, when Tommy opened that envelope, he'd know the truth. His grandfather didn't fail. His grandfather finally succeeded at something I should have done years ago. I learned to say no. If you like this story, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions in the comments. To listen to more stories, click on the window on the right. Thank you for being with us.